There has been a recurring theme throughout everything since the inception of this project, and that is that James Gunn just says all the right stuff. I don't know how else to put it, but James Gunn, basically, since the outset of this project, has been saying all the right things for a Superman fan such as myself. With that in mind, let's talk about some of what we knew right out of the gate would be the synopsis, or at least the tone and general direction of this film. Because according to the official logline for Warner Brothers' Superman film, the film will tell the story of Superman's journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as Clark Kent of Smallville, Kansas. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way, guided by human kindness in a world that sees kindness as old-fashioned. James Gunn has said he's a big old galoot. He is a farm boy from Kansas who is very idealistic. His great weakness is that he'll never kill anybody and doesn't want to hurt a living soul. And I like that sort of innate goodness about Superman as his defining characteristic. Just again, this idea that he's a big old galoot and he's a farm boy from Kansas who's idealistic. This idea that he is the embodiment of kindness in a world that sees kindness as old-fashioned. Like, I love that because it reminds me of what I've been telling people for years. If you've been following me, if you heard me on the Los Fanboys podcast back in the Latino Review days, if you listened to me on the Fanboy or the El Fanboy podcast when I went solo, if you listened to the Revengers podcast when I launched Revenge of the Fans, all of this time, fans like myself have been hearing fans who don't even like Superman, has been listening to people who don't like Superman say he needs to be reinvented. He's too good. He's too nice. He's too kind. He's a Boy Scout. He's outdated. He needs a modern update. For years, it's just that's been the thing. Superman cannot work as in his traditional form, that modern day audiences would never, ever, ever accept him. And I've always said that is BS. That is not the truth. Okay? Just look at what Marvel did with Captain America. Okay? They kept Captain America pure. If you look at the Steve Rogers that Chris Evans played throughout his entire run as Captain America, you saw a Steve Rogers who was innately good, who was innately kind, and who was innately all of these things in a world that thinks those things are corny. And that's part of what made the character stand out. You put that kind of a character in a world that is morally corrupt, in a world that is full of shades of gray, and that true blue ideal hero comes through. And he becomes your symbol of hope. He becomes that goodness by cutting through all the murkiness around him. You don't do it by making him murky. Don't make him a shade of gray. Don't make him conflicted. No, make the world around him that way. And it sounds like that's exactly what James Gunn's doing. He's going the same route that Marvel went with Captain America. Muddy up the waters around him, but keep our hero at the center, the true blue ideal who's meant to show you how it's really done, even when you don't want to hear it. Even when you think you know better, sometimes you have to go back to what has always worked, and that's Superman.